Shout out to essentiallymoody.com. This is an aromatherapy hand sanitizer. When I tell you guys, it smells so good. It smells so good. This one is called Bliss. It's got essential oils, vitamin E, aloe vera, and it has a lemongrass aroma. When I tell you, I spray a little bit on my pillow at night before I go to sleep, and I sleep like a baby. It is just, it's infused with an aroma that kind of just like taps into a part of your brain that just like stimulates, I swear to you, euphoria. I can't get enough of this. I sent one to my mother-in-law, and hopefully she's received it, and I think she's gonna love it. I can just imagine her going to Juma on Friday and sharing it with the other Muslimas, and I'm hoping that they all can pick one up. It's black owned. It was a wonderful lady who sold me this product. Essentiallymoody.com. Essentially Moody with an I-E at the end instead of a Y, please. There's different types. I think Bliss is my favorite, but I also have Serenity. There's different types, and they all smell so good. And I know during these harsh winter months, especially a girl like myself, eczema has been a part of my life for forever, it seems like. I have this shea butter, and it's called, it's a 5 essential oil shea butter, and it's made for me, 4 with the number 4. When I tell you guys, this stuff is, your skin is your largest organ. So obviously we know that we perspire, we also absorb. So if you think about what you're eating, what you're actually ingesting and putting inside of your mouth, it is very important. And what you put on your skin is actually very important, because your skin doesn't just perspire, it also absorbs. So this is all stuff. What you really want to be able to confidently say is that the stuff that you're putting on your skin, you can actually eat. And that's how organic these products are. And my skin is just so thankful. So thankful. It's been such a remedy for my eczema. It's both made for your skin as well as your hair. So you can just, put some on your scalp. You also can get a larger jar. And what I've done, I did it with the CBD oil, is I put it in a container and I boiled some water. I put in some hot water, and I got the CBD oil nice and warm. And then, I'm a dancer, so I'm always having knots in my body and my ankles. After dancing for an hour even, my ankles and my feet. So if you take some of this, or you take some of the CBD oil that is also for sale, you warm it up, make it nice and warm. You can just put it all over your body and get a personal massager and just get deep into those knots wherever you feel an ache and a pain. And I'm telling you, it's the biggest relief. So please support these businesses. They're black owned. It's owned by some amazing women, some very kind-hearted, compassionate, lovely ladies. And it's not just because I like them. It's also because they have actually products that actually work. But back to business, So along the way, one of the fun parts about doing this music thing, one of the fun parts about being a dancer, and one of the fun parts about being an artist, is that I get to meet other artists of all walks of life and from all backgrounds. I've met percussionists. I've met drummers who have lady percussionists who have drummed for like A-listers. I've met choreographers who've been backup dancers for some well-known artists. I've met, makeup artists for like Alicia Keys, and Alicia Keys I don't think wears makeup anymore, but back in the day, I met her, one of her makeup artists in New York City. And, some of these people that I've met, it's been like the Trail of Tears. And it was very important to me to start this video off by really bigging up black women who are doing their thing, entrepreneurs, because when I tell you I've met so many incredible, amazing black women who are entrepreneurs, who are musicians, And a lot of these musicians, it's been like the Trail of Tears, literally. And I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into this conversation about the Trail of Tears. Have you guys ever seen that fabulous video? I think it's the video for When the Money Goes. And he, in the beginning of the video, is getting advice from Jay-Z in a car. And Jay-Z says something to the effect of, and it's wise. He says, sometimes the best way to see somebody is without actually really seeing that person, right? So that whole idea of like seeing somebody without actually seeing somebody, right? Without actually them really knowing that they're being watched is a good way to be able to assess someone's character, right? When they're not on display. And then I thought about it, right? And we talk about, all of these symbolisms. I was listening to Infinite Waters earlier, and he was talking about different symbolisms. And he's talking about this, the mudra when you're meditating, and how you'll see artists throw that up over their eye. And, this idea of the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, you see the all-seeing eye. And what do these hand symbols mean? What does this stuff mean? What does this embody? And when we think of the all-seeing eye, when we think of Big Brother, part of the reason why some of the things that I've been going through, I'm able to kind of put it in a bigger perspective and say, the people that are trying to watch me are also being watched, without exception. So the people that are trying to watch you are being watched. The people that are trying to oppress you are being oppressed. The people that are trying to enslave you are being enslaved. The people that are trying to trick you are also being tricked. And who is Big Brother? Well, some people are like, it's the government, We've come to a more policed state as the years go by. We've become even more scrutinized and surveilled. And a lot of times, shout out to Kambada, who has a lyric I'll never forget. He said, those aren't birds, those are drones in birds' clothing. And I thought about it. I said, that might be true. We may actually be looking at some birds that actually may be robots, We might actually be talking to people that are actually robots in 2021, right? Who knows? We may be following people. Some of the influencers may be bots. Who knows? So we've become less of an organic atmosphere, more of a police state, more surveilled. But as a believer, I always have to go back to the source energy. Who is the Big Brother? Who's the all-knowing, the all-hearing, the all-watching, the omnipotent? God. God is the all-monitoring. God is the Big Brother, right? And so the things that a lot of people thought that they could do when, for whatever reason, nobody was watching and that they wouldn't get exposed, it was not intelligent. And this video is mostly about the music industry because I became aware through my personal experience, as well as I had a relative who dated somebody in the industry. And, gave me some insight about that. And then all of the people that I met between LA and New York and just different places that I visited, this like trail of tears, literally. Black women specifically, and I know it's not just black women, but specifically the ones that I met, who had just been through the ringer with the music industry. And literally, it wasn't just contracts. It was like well-known entertainers that like had ruined their lives. Just ruined their lives. And the thing about it is, we are sovereign beings. We are sovereign beings. So that means that when I listen to somebody and they've decided to play a game that they did not participate in creating the rules of, I have to begin to analyze their power or their lack thereof. In this industry, we know that there's different oaths. We know we've heard of some of the inner workings of the game. Many of these artists are silent because they have to be silent. That's part of the oaths that they've sworn into, that they cannot vocalize the occult, right? And the occult is really just another word for hidden knowledge. Knowledge that is not accessible. Really, I guess it's accessible for most people, but most people will go through life without having this hidden knowledge. And to me, like that word, there's really nothing spooky about it. Just hidden knowledge. So with this oath of silence, I believe in free will entirely. I believe that if an artist decides to take an oath of silence, that's what they're doing with their own free will. Above everything, right? If we are made in his image, I was listening to 19 Keys earlier. 19 Keys was talking like that 5% of stuff. You know, his logo, his brand is a derivative of Elijah Muhammad. You know, I have people that I am influenced by. I have people that I listen to, and I have people within my circle who really do believe that they are gods, and that they believe that they are gods because we are made in God's image, and have risen to like a godlike power, right? Not to be blasphemous, but in the sense of we are made from like stars. Like we are very powerful creatures, right? So 19 Keys earlier was talking about being a god. And I was listening to what he had to say. And I thought about this concept of being a god on this earth. I thought about this concept and what that would mean, right? And one thing that I know about God is that God gave us free will. I was speaking about this, you know, when I was talking about Nazir Ra and Hidden Power University. And the reason why, you guys, the reason why I name dropped, right? People are like, she's name dropping, she's clout chasing. No. That's not the reason why, guys. It's not clout chasing. I'm very confident in what I bring to the table knowledge-wise. The reason why I name drop is because I totally believe, especially as an artist, in giving credit where credit is due. I have a very low level of respect for those, because this is really what this conversation is all about. I have a very low level of respect for those people who steal from artists, so to me, when I say Infinite Waters, Dr. Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, Nazir Ra, Tahuti Ma'at Ra, the names that you hit, 19 Keys, the names, right, of the people that I listen to, the thought leaders that I listen to, and have gained tremendous information from. This is not to clout chase. This is the equivalent of you will fail your paper if you refuse to do an annotated bibliography. If you refuse to cite your source, you fail your paper in college, right? As a songwriter, as an artist, that's like a pillar, like that's like a core, like. So I'm name dropping, not for clout chasing purposes, but for integrity purposes. To understand that a lot of these thoughts that I got were put in my mind or triggered or inspired by other people, and it doesn't take anything away from me to give credit where credit is due. This is the reason why I am name dropping. Which brings me to this conversation. So God has the ability to give the angels just the ability to obey and not question, but give us as human beings free will. So as an artist, if you choose to participate in an oath of silence, that is your free will. If you choose to join an organization that forces you to do certain things, that is also your free will. It's not up to me as an adult to tell another adult what they can or cannot do with their own free will. I want you to be very, very clear of that. But as far as what I adhere to, as far as my moral compass, and as far as the things that I respect, I do not respect, and I cannot respect, and I will not respect artists that sabotage other artists to eliminate the competition. I cannot respect, I do not respect, and I will not respect artists who are well known, who are stealing material from other artists who are not well known. That is stealing. And for me, especially with my dad, Nuruddin Faiz, shout out to Nuruddin Faiz. I'll always be a daddy's girl. Always, always, always. Love my dad. My dad will always be in my heart. My dad was a musician. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I believe in legacy. I believe a lot of this has to do with legacy. And I know the times where I was not, like, when I was not doing the right thing. What does that mean? Kenza, what were you doing that wasn't the right thing? Pretty much what everybody else is doing. At happy hour, having wine, you know, being, I guess, more social and at the clubs and, you know, I was never ever doing anything wild, but like, just, you know, doing what everybody else does. But not rising up to my calling. Not rising up to the purpose that my Creator has for me, because I was given such knowledge so early on. More weight was placed on the times that I decided to neglect my responsibility. So the consequences of people who weren't given the knowledge early on were not as massive as the consequences of me, who was just being a knucklehead like everybody else, but had a very specific responsibility and a very specific purpose that I wasn't living up to. And once I decided to live the life that I live, the life where I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't really engage in like gossip about people. I'm not, you know, I don't believe in having sex with people you don't love. Work out, I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, all those things, right? I realized at a certain point that these were going to be tools to my success, and this was going to be something that I needed to do to refine my behavior in order to uphold my legacy. In order for my ancestors to feel okay with giving their blessing to me, I couldn't be acting like a knucklehead. In order to rise up to my power, I couldn't be acting like a knucklehead. And so this idea and this concept of legacy kind of became more of a force, you know, it became more of a thing. My ancestors and those that came before me became more of a consideration. I began to think a lot more of my ancestors and the things that they had been through and the opportunity to actually break these generational curses. What do I mean? Well, these curses, you know, these curses of oppression and things like that, things that my ancestors went through. I had the opportunity to break these generational curses. And in order for them to feel comfortable giving me their blessing, I would have to walk in a certain light. I would have to carry myself in a certain way. And then I thought about it also broader. It was just one day I was in prayer and I thought about, you know, I asked Allah to bless me with inspiration, with creativity, and to allow me to become a better artist. I pray for these types of things. And certainly it has manifested. I've become much better than I was. So I was praying and I said, you know, I want to pray for also the artists that have come before me. And I did a very specific prayer for the artists that came before me that I love. Miles Davis and John Coltrane and Bob Marley, even Pac, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, you know, all of the greats that have come before me were part of this prayer. Prince, Michael Jackson, you know, please allow them to be pleased with my art. Allow the people who sacrifice so much and went through the ringer with the music industry. Prince got slave tatted on his face. Went through the oppression with the music industry. Allow them and their legacy, allow that to work through me. Allow them to be pleased with the things that I create. I would want Bob Marley to endorse me, to say, yes, I feel good standing by this one. She's a Rasta. You know what I mean? Like, allow that. And then I started thinking, like, a lot of these artists, none of them would be approved by those that have come before us. Like, if we're replicating certain archetypes, some of you literally are replicating the archetype of the slaves that called, you know, the slave master on Harriet Tubman. That's the archetype that you showed up with. Like, you work with those boys to set people up. Like, you take plea bargains to be like undercover cops / artists, you know, or / entertainers to set people up. Like, this is what you do. Like, this is, like, Nipsey would never co-sign you, you know, like Pac would never co-sign you, DMX would never co-sign you. And so right now is the opportunity for everything to be exposed. And I thought about it, you know, and my heart did go out to certain artists who I felt like were stuck in certain contracts. And I said, you know, with my power, am I going to help these artists and things of that nature? Well, you know, everything will be revealed in time. And some artists will get helped and some artists will not. Because there's no chance in hell that you're participating in another artist's cruelty. There's no chance in hell that you're participating in another artist's captivity. There's no chance in hell that you are stealing from another artist, stealing melodies, stealing music, stealing song lyrics, stealing choreography, just stealing, and expecting good to come of that. That's never going to happen. You don't have your ancestors' blessings unless your ancestors were the people that called the slave master on Harriet Tubman. Then yes, that's the DNA that's running through your veins, so you probably do have their blessing. You don't have Bob Marley's blessing. You don't have Prince's blessing. Josephine Baker, like, you don't have like the legend's blessing in the things that you do and the music that you create and the things that you're doing to other artists. So it's very important to know that the very captivity that you have orchestrated or participated in or been an innocent bystander to is the very captivity that now you're stuck in a bullshit contract where you don't even see a fraction of the money that you're producing. You're going through holy hell with the label trying to get out of your contract. Well, what did you do? Whose toes did you step on? Who did you use as your stepping stone to get where you're at? Whose careers will never see the light of day because of the things that you did? And just like that, poof, you tried to eliminate the competition and then you got eliminated. Anyways, y'all, peace.